Hi, this is Joe Woodring, and this is my presentation on the coherence principle. The coherence principle basically just says that when you have a presentation, it's really important to avoid extraneous audio or graphics or text. I was looking on SlideShare and I came across a presentation that was called Application of Algebra. And as I went through it, I think I figured out that it was a presentation made by a group of students. So it makes sense that they might have had some issues with some of their slides. So one of the slides I found as a poor example of violating the coherence principle was this one about, it says the uses of algebra. The text in here talks about everyday examples of algebra and how people use algebra in real life. And it's talking about going into a store and having a certain amount of money and trying to figure out if you can afford to buy items. Or it says, if you wanted to find out how tall a building is, it says if you know how far away it is and the height of any one thing you have at hand, there's an equation for that. Um, and that's nice and everything, but the image that they have here is a person fishing, and they've got a bunch of angles, which illustrates math, but not algebra so much, and certainly has nothing to do with going to a store and buying anything or looking at buildings or anything. Um, so clearly this violates the coherence principle. So I cleaned up that slide and basically I just wrote down and said algebra is evident in everyday situations. Copied the information about going to the store and then I included an image of the buy one get one half off concept that they were mentioning in that slide. So then I was looking through the presentation some more. There was another slide about data entry, and they were talking about how data entry requires use and knowledge of algebraic concepts. Um, and they include an image of pi, and pi might be used in some data entry, but that image doesn't give me any idea that data entry is the focus of this slide. So I went back and cut down on some of the text. Just said for data entry, most data software allows use of functions, and functions for calculating sums, averages, or other figures are based off algebra. Included a picture of a person working at a computer and a little spreadsheet image so that people would see, data entry does involve lots of numbers. It might involve graphs and charts also. Um, so that's my talk about the coherence principle. It's just really important to make sure when you're making a presentation to avoid extraneous images or text or audio that could be distracting to the viewer and help them not really understand what you're trying to communicate.